you might be hearing about the Olympic broadcast in the other room. My partner is deep into this, and I encourage her to watch it. Gives her something to occupy herself. Alright, so if you're watching this, you probably realize, oh, there's no new original content other than another vlog. But it's alright. I have stuff to talk about. I made a list. I hung a blanket in the back as some wall decoration, kind of break up. I usually have a white background with my color changing psychedelic lights. They're still around, which sometimes bothers software that I use to cheat and edit faster. I just belched. All right. So, what have I been doing? I'm working on a video essay on alignments. Are you a good person or a bad person? Do you follow the law, or are you an agent of chaos? Yeah, so I'm kind of doing a piece on how it's kind of became lame, and games like Tales of the Valiant, etc. are ditching it. Other OSR games are going back to the old school, lawful, neutral, or chaotic. And I just came up with some ideas. Kind of showed what 2 other game systems are doing. See if you can adapt it to D&D. And I came up with some of my very original ideas. And there you have it. That's going to be a tease. So hopefully by mid next week, you should see it. I am recording this as I stare at my calendar on the 12th, which means that tomorrow's the 13th, and should be ingesting, and hopefully I can edit it quick tonight and have it nice and ingested into YouTube for a Saturday or Sunday release. Yeah, I'm going to go off my list that I made of little things I want to talk about. Nothing groundbreaking, just a little ranting to the ether, or the internet, essentially. Alright. I like stacking my books that I want to talk about on these vlogs just on my bed so I can just reach for them. Dolman Wood. Or is it Dolman Wood? Which one is better? The chanting or the ba ba ba? It's from a commercial. I just can't put my finger on it. Alright, so Dolman Wood is by the folks who, from Old School Essentials, it is... Old School Essentials is a rewrite and updating of BX original D&D. This takes it one step further, and it's like takes some mechanics, but I hear some people outside. I have the window open. I wonder if they're hearing me. Should open my blinds. Maybe I should put a webcam pointing outside, and I could spy. Either way, who gives a shit? Cuss word! Okay, so Dolmenwood is basically this. Takes the mechanics from that era of D&D, BX with a little bit of AD&D and a little bit of 3.5 and fifth, omitting the fourth, So here we are. We have this great system, and it creates this new setting. It's more fairy tale based, not. It's kind of like pre-Tolkien. Tolkien is very interested in fairy tales. This is you can adventures and all that. You can play fairies. You can play all kinds of fancy creatures. It's just interesting. There is a monotheistic church, which very reflects the medieval Catholic Church. Delicious. I'm not going to go into too much details. It's kind of, they describe it as folk fantasy, or I would say it's kind of a medieval fantasy that understands more what the Middle Ages were. I think most Americans couldn't tell the difference between the Middle Ages and antiquity and anything else, And people like George Martin don't help, because he takes real history, the War of the Roses from Great Britain, and turns it into something more fantastical. By the way, this kind of feels the reverse of that. I don't know how to explain it. It is, I don't know, it's just a very interesting setting. I currently only have the player's handbook. It doesn't detail a lot, but it gives you the gist of the things, Who's the boss, who's the, what the conflicts are, It's interesting. I know I'm waiting to receive, there's been other reviews. I'm waiting to receive 2 more books that I ordered. Campaign book and the Bestiary Monster Manual, whatever they're going to call it. And waiting for that. They also have released a couple of albums, which you can get the MP3s for free. So, and since, this channel is Melodies and Monsters, I recommend seeing it. Yeah, it's going to be a lot cooler. All right, let me catch my breath. I got a couple more things. Before we go, follow the advice of this deranged fellow and help us out. Okay, for those who didn't get my telepathic message, please click on the QR code or scan it, whatever you have to do, and buy me some coffee. We're trying to turn this into a professional operation or an actual cult. Bye! Wow, so yeah, do the buy me coffee thing. I'll try to put a link in the comments. Like I said in this video, or my alter ego, who is that dude? Yeah, help. We're trying to become a professional entity and or a all-powerful cult. We need all the support. All right, so one of the things that motivate me beyond my regular tomfoolery is cinema. I've always been a film dork, film nerd, film buff, and so I moved to California. Other things happened, and I'm here, YouTubing. You losing? No, I hope not. So I've been wanting to maybe have a film festival, or at least have a film screening in my area which is the high desert. I will eventually divulge what area I'm at. I don't know. I just don't want to get stalked by weirdos. Although, is it a sign that you're successful in the broader entertainment industry when you're stalked by weirdos? Isn't like, oh, wow, I've finally made it. Some weirdo wants to marry me and wear my face as a mask. Hey. Either way, so I want to organize a film festival. Thinking I should just first organize some sort of screening before I go full on festival. Just maybe, or maybe an event where like during the day I could have rent a hall, like a banquet hall. We could have a couple different people playing one shots of their favorite TTRPGs, or maybe some Magic the Gathering. People will say that. I haven't played it in almost 20 years. Yeah. And frankly, my daughter's into Pokemon. I don't know. But either way, I want to keep it medieval fantasy here. So we could have that during the day, and at night we could, maybe rent an RV or some sort of party wagon, go to the movie theater, watch the movie, and then be taken back to where our vehicles are. And that would be the one night for our screening. And yeah, I have already ever-growing list of fantasy films I'd love to show to people. Who knows, maybe that would be instead like a series. Like I could do it once a month, depending on attendance, if I could do pre-sales. There are a lot of ideas floating in my head. I do want to rent a theater, that's for sure. And I do have a short list so far of films I'd love to show. Top of my list, it's just not in order, it's just what popped in my head. If I had to organize them, it would be even different. Definitely want to show Dragonslayer, classic movie. Great. I'm blanking the actor's name. That's one of my biggest problems. I'm bad with names. But he became one of the bosses in Ally McBeal. He was on Ghostbusters 2. Geez, I gotta remember his name. Either way, I'm gonna just skip names unless they're obvious. But then Beastmaster. Yeah, another classic. It's almost on the schlockier side of fantasy here, but I used to watch it all the times. Remember back home in Denver, on Channel 2, they would have these retrospectives of more schlocky movies. Beastmasters was on it. They'd also show a lot of Corman movies like Ants or Creatures of the Week like Piranha. Great shit. And then, but yeah, Beastmasters would definitely be on my list. Of course, a classic of 80s fantasy legend with Tom Cruise and Tim Curry. And I don't remember the lady's name. All right. A great thing. Again, it's just pure. It's just the stuff that made the genre, a lot of people feel like, at least I feel, there's a pre-Lord of the Rings and a post-Lord of the Rings when it comes to fantasy film. Yet, I think a lot of the pre-Lord of the Rings doesn't get a good credit. Now, I've seen some fantasy film lists that include stuff that I guess it's technically fantasy, but it's also very much sci-fi-y, like Star Wars. Is Star Wars fantasy? It's futuristic with fantasy elements, or but it's not really science fiction. I mean, it's a story. It's a fairy tale. Once upon a ago, in a galaxy far, far away, yada yada. So yeah. So here we are. My thoughts on the day. Dark Crystal. Jim Henson Studios. I mean, wow. They're moving. Donate the Kermit that's on top of their gate. That's just as Charlie Chaplin, because there used to be the old UA lot in LA. I miss that. I miss driving around like in LA when I was in my 20s, chasing young women, trying to get into clubs, trying to getting on the promoter's email list, and then finding out there's a second promoter's email list for the attractive people. Yeah. Either way. Well, after Dark Crystal. Again, it's just one of those movies that's just perfect. I'm mentioning it, I'm not talking about it. You know, it's just this whole idea of, it's just fantastical creatures, the Geflings, the Sexist. And there's a Dark Crystal TTRPG somewhere out there. I think I should know. I mean, I pride myself in a big knowledge in the hobby, and sometimes I can't know everything. But yeah. Oh, well, yeah. I want to watch it again probably sometime this weekend. Another classic, NeverEnding Story. I want to watch. Should I make my daughter watch it? It's not on her radar. You know, I believe you have to educate your kids filmically. You know, if you're a parent and there's these classic movies you grew up, you gotta make them watch them. Don't wait till there's a remake. It'll ruin it. Speaking of new movies that kind of look like a remake, well, technically it's another adaptation, is the new Dracula by Luc Besson. Luc Besson, je montre ma prononciation française. Alright, well, Luc Besson, after I'm starting to show off here. Yeah, his Dracula, which is technically 2025 or 2026 for the US. Some of the stills I saw felt like it owed a lot to Francis Ford's Bram Stoker's Dracula from 1992. I'm going to leave it there. I haven't seen it yet. I want to give it the benefit of the doubt. Okay, Atreyu, NeverEnding Story. Yeah, I wanted my daughter to watch it. I want her to experience everything. You know, this movie is just... it's a... Don't make it anymore. Rumor has it they're going to make a third one. A fourth one. I don't know. A remake. I'm wary of remakes. Even great movies that turn out to have good sequels, eventually they made one sequel that sucked. You know? And then one that sucked more. Like Crystal Skulls for Indiana Jones, and then the Chronometer of Doom, whatever. After that one, I checked out. You know? Plus, it's Kathleen Kennedy D&D. Kathleen Kennedy, LucasArts. Wow, my brain. Dementia runs in my family. Alright, yeah. So I felt... The same thing, like NeverEnding Story. I think there's a couple direct-to-video sequels and then an animated sequel? Prequel? Yeah. The original is perfect. It's epic, but has a delicate quality to it. I mean, it's about sensitive characters, really. Again, I'm going to have to force my daughter to watch it. Now, the Labyrinth. again, if if any movie everyone could have made me doubt my hetero credentials for having David Bowie in those tights. But yeah, again, another perfect movie. Hoggle looks like Keith Richards. There's a meme out there. That's true. I don't know if it was planned or happy accident. Yeah. Excalibur. John Borman. Excalibur. Wow. Yeah. I don't know. I remember watching that movie. I watched it. I put it on while I was going to sleep a couple of nights ago, just to chill, and I don't know. I relax to sounds of Sword of Sorcery sometimes, and I'll put on a soundtrack for a fantasy film, or I'm weird that way, Yeah. Again, it's just full of mythical violence and beauty, and I'm not going to divulge my kiddo's name, but it's from the Arthurian cycles, so I'm going to leave it there. And of course, the classical Conan the Barbarian. That rounded my short list of possibilities I could program if I had a film night or a film festival or both. I mean, Conan is... I haven't seen the remake with Jason Momoa, but maybe I did and I forgot it. Oh, that sucks. But yeah, Arnold, if a man was born to be and made to be a barbarian, it's Arnold! Seriously, it's like, I'm belching again. Ugh. Ate some hot dogs for dinner, and I belch tastes like hot dog, and that's not a good taste to come back. Hot dogs. I can't eat bologna unless it's fried, and hot dogs one thing I kind of like, but it's just an excuse to eat mustard relish, tomatoes. Ketchup if you're from not a Chicago person, or whatever kind of slop you put onto a hot dog. But yeah, going back, Arnold was just such a titan, Nothing, he's just perfect. I'll be back. Yeah. Alright, so I'm doing a little thing off the rails here, which is what I do when I'm recording these things. Let's see, look at my timer. Yeah. I did 23 minutes so far. And it's going to get cut down. Who knows? So yeah, let me see. Let me look around my room and we can talk about... Oh. I have a stash I got for the people I love. I got some heart candy. It's Valentine's Day coming up. I bought 4. One for everybody, plus one for me, because self-love is important. At least, say that. I might leave that there. I got more dice. Yeah, I'm going to make another piece. I found these. Real quick. Yeah, they're very cute. There's a couple... there's a special 4-sided die in there. That's plus a regular pyramid style. I got... Oh, yeah, I forgot. I have some more dice that I never showed anybody. I have these dice, and I have another one. These haven't been opened yet. You see, I have D100s and D50s. Yeah, I think. And D100, 100-sided kind of spheroid, not the percentile plus D10 method. Yeah. Okay, so I'll make another die video. I might make it more useful. Talk about, I don't know, should I talk about the mathematics about dice and probability curves and why rolling, 5d4s will get you a different number spread than if you're rolling 1d20. Interesting. But yeah, so here we are. I'm tired, If you're seeing this, tell me what you think about the D20 in the comments. I'm not going to even edit this tonight. I'll try to cut it tomorrow. Whew, tired. Alright. Again, thinking about starting a film festival or at least a film series in theaters. I know. I just want to leave something in this world, Here, I'm getting real now. Oh, I hate that. Yeah. I mean, so many things out there people don't get to see. If you don't showcase it, especially with movies, it's a disposable entertainment. It's like comic books. Yet we all know that there's that one issue, that was worth billions. You start saving your comics, or at least cherishing them. Knowing that even if they're a couple dollars to buy, and if in America they're not even backed. You go to Europe and the format's different. They call it an album, like an album record, and they're usually hardback, which is weird. Growing up in France, most people have read paperbacks, and their libraries are full of paperbacks. But albums, comic book albums, hardback. I don't know. Well, I'm hearing my wife calling for me. I don't know if you can hear it. She probably needs me to help her, clean her, or feed her. Alrighty then. Well, just another vlog. It's not going to bring any views. This is a labor of love. Bye.